Hello everyone, this is Yogita from Happiness Road Foundation. We are back with our International Women's Day Special Edition Women Accolades. We are back with one of the great lady, Geetha Chandrashekar. So she has extensive experience in information technology domain, engineering domain. So she holds like 27 years of experience in this domain. She is kind of managing multiple teams. There is always a saying that women in tech is a very less count, but she has kind of, come across this journey so far and have been doing in her field. So, very happy to have you, ma'am. So, can you tell us about yourself? Like how did this instinct of engineering came into you? Like usually in your times. There was a predefined roles, right? Like doctors, girls should be doctors and boys should be engineers or something like that. Like that sort of visionary or perspection was created by parents to us, right? So how did you get into this male dominant engineering career?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the introduction, Yogita. Very happy to be here and talking to you and to the other women that are going to hear this. Yeah, so it has been a long journey now. Yeah, back in the time, it seems like now I'm so old that 27 years of experience, right? Some of the engineers that are joining my team were not even born when I started my career. So that's what it is, which is true. But yeah, so when I started off, right, yes, there were set roles, there were predefined careers that would be recommended for women. And it was kind of a phase where STEM, what we say, science, technology, engineering, and math was not a preferred path for many of the women. And they would be very happy if someone would do something like take up a teaching career or become a doctor or something of that sort. But talking about myself, in my family, I have a lot of engineers, right, including my father, who's an engineer. So he always had this vision for me to become an engineer. And my mother is also highly educated, and she was a double graduate in mathematics. So that kind of yes, that is true. Right. So that kind of instilled that, inclination towards maths from the early days. Right. So somewhat my upbringing helped me to become an engineer. And the dreams that my parents had for me, fortunately, was to become a engineer than anything else. So that kind of molded me into this career path, Yogita.
Oh, all right, ma'am. So you had that kind of a parenting and also a support to push you to engineering, and also you loved engineering?
Yes, absolutely. Because I love math, right? So I was always good at math, and it always was there in the household, right? All the conversations, and these are engineers talking engineering languages. So it was always exciting. And me being good in math naturally, pushed me towards engineering because of that background and inclination. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Oh, that's great to know, ma'am. So, while you perceived your career, like you were a fresher and you went into an organization, and I believe back in the days, the count of girls were very less in this kind of technology industry or something like that. So, how did it feel, ma'am? Like, can you define the environment back in the day and today? So, can you define
Yeah.
what difference it is?
Yogita, it's a very, very relevant question. Let me tell you, to be brutally honest, it was today feels much more inclusive than back in those days. Was it really a bed of roses? Absolutely not. It was a little bit intimidating to start with. We could only find men in a room when we were meeting. Possibly there are just a handful of girls that are there in the room, and even in the team, as a matter of fact. And when they were high pressure work that was coming, right? The men would comfortably stay overnight, stay over time. And for us girls, it was kind of, a bit of a difficulty to kind of manage those kind of schedules and be with them at par, even though technically we were all at par. When such situations would come, it would isolate us a little bit. Yeah, it was very, very difficult that time. And there were lack of role models, Yogita. As a matter, what am I trying to say is that, when today I look up and there is a a CEO that is a lady, or a CTO that's a lady, chief security officer, or a technical architect. So there are women in high position that we can look up to. Back in those days, there were no such role models. So we didn't know, was it possible? Today we look up to them and we realize that yes, if they can do, we can do as well. But when we were starting our careers, because of the lack of these role models, we didn't know, was it possible, what is not possible. So we had to kind of find and carve our own path.
Yeah. So what kept you going? There should be something that kept you going always, right? Because what happens is while the environment becomes so intimidating with lot of males and all, there are so many people who kind of give up or take a back seat not to get into higher roles or something. So what kept you going? What was that one thing that you told yourself that I should do this or I should reach this? Or I should become a role model. Of course, you are a role model today to many young girls or young and IT engineers who would be looking up to you and working with you as well.
Yeah, so there is a saying, right? Behind every successful man, there is always a woman. Similarly, behind every successful woman, there is always a doting father. And a supportive family, right? So I would say that I'm lucky to have the family that supported me all along. It could be my parents, it could be my husband. So the family has always supported me. And also, I think, when we see, I have myself in my career seen a lot of my friends and colleagues give up midway through, and then get back to other priorities. But I would not say one way or the other. It's always about their own priorities in life and their own phases of life, and everyone will have to make a choice. But what would I like to say to all of those is that, hold on, persevere. It is going to pay off definitely eventually, right? So that I think perseverance, that quality that I have, has kept me going through my journey. And today, if you are asking me what keeps you going today, right? With all of these many engineering experience that I have in the past, right? So what keeps me going is people like you, Yogita, right? So a lot of team members that I have are looking up to me and taking inspiration from me. And I owe it to them, and I am feeling a little bit responsible to them because yeah, it definitely that kind of trust and that kind of the look up that they do for me keeps me motivated to go further.
That's really great to know, ma'am. So, corporate politics plays a major role in the hindrance of anybody's career, be it men or be it women. Would you like to comment about that? Like, did you face any situation or maybe need not name anyone or anything, but any kind of a situation where you feel that, like what basically what message would you like to give to the people who are actually going through this corporate politics and all such environment?
See, any person working in any field, IT or otherwise, I would say mostly confidently that has experienced, office politics one way or the other, right?
Yeah,
One day or the other,
yes.
right? So there is no place, there is no workplace, I would say, where there isn't office politics. Same thing applies to IT also. It is a highly competitive world. So is everything else, right? What is not competitive today? Where isn't where do you have a place where there is no politics? There's politics everywhere. But once you have belief in your own merit and in the outcome that you bring to table, then you should not be worried about politics at all. right? It's all about self-belief and confidence in your work that will help you eventually. Politics can give possibly short-term results, but long-term, it fails everyone, right? So person who is thinking that he can get along and get a way to the upwards in his career or her career only through politics is bound to fail, right? Just hold on, don't give up. That's all you need to do, right? That's it. There
That's a
is politics everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a good takeaway, actually, believe in your merit, believe in you, what you are bringing to the table and all such things. So, yeah, I agree to you, ma'am.
And I'll tell you one thing, right? If I don't believe in myself, how do I expect anyone else in this whole world to believe in me, right? When I myself do not believe in me, then who is going to believe in me? Nor my family, nor my office folks, nor anyone else, right? So primary self belief, right?
That is true, ma'am. So there is a lot of issue with the self-esteem and the confidence in a girl, right? Like, for corporates like us, we kind of are into this world, so we know how world operates. But there are a lot of homemakers who want to, come back and work. There are a lot of girls from the tier two, tier three city who really, I mean, it's kind of a shocking environment for them. So, what kind of advice you would like to give for those sector or those category of people to kind of make a step or take that first step or a leap of faith?
Yes, to be honest, you used a very beautiful word, leap of faith, right? That is the leap that I took about 27 years back and see where I am, right? So that's the leap of faith that I took then. And all that it takes is that one moment, the moment you take it, once you are in the water, you will swim somehow, right? Then you will move your limbs and swim somehow. That first step is a little bit difficult. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I have seen in my own experience that people who are coming from tier two, tier three cities, especially girls, are extremely smart, right? And they are actually smarter than anyone in the urban places, I would say. Don't take me wrong for this, but they have very clear thoughts. They have great insights. They have great inputs, right? They have seen the world in a different perspective that possibly I, being, born, brought up in a city environment, has not seen. And that diversity is precious. All they need to do is someone has to tell them that what you have is so precious that you are going to add so much value to any place they go, right? IT or not, that they just have to be told and brought into the limelight, and once they are in, I'm sure they will swim through it.
Yeah, that is good way actually, And one more thing, like that bothers many of the women who are actually going to the lead roles or something. I'm not sure if this thing is there in IT or not, but in various industries there is a pay parity. Like the women's are paid lesser, way lesser than what males are paid. So, do you want to comment on that pay parity or something like that? And if you have come across any such kind of an experience, or you're trying to work around that or something.
So it's a unconscious bias that's there. It's a societal norm unconsciously that's been built in our minds that, a woman is a homemaker, a man is the breadwinner of the family or the earning member of the family. It's been inculcated. See, you could see it in in your movies and the stories that you read and the things that you hear from, the society. So women somewhat tend to believe what they've heard, right? I'm a homemaker. If I get an opportunity to work, it's a big deal, right? And so, yeah, getting an opportunity to work itself is big deal now. Why should I kind of, go back and negotiate on my salary and what have you, right? And it is also a very well established fact that when it comes to pay negotiations, women are very, very bad or poor in that, right? They typically do not negotiate their salaries. But again, it comes back to the same thing, Yogita. See, we have studied in the same schools as the boys, right? We have possibly scored better than them in most subjects, right? We are academically, we can say and prove it through our marks and our scholarships that we have gotten. And given a piece of code as an example, possibly we can write it, if not better, at par with anyone else that is there, right? Irrespective of gender. So my merit has no gender, right? Then why should my confidence be dependent on gender, right? If I am given a problem, I'm going to solve it just like anyone else in this team, in this world, right? So once we have that clarity in our thoughts, then it's up to all women to go back and negotiate for the right pay. And the pay is not for gender, right? The pay is for the work they're doing. The pay is for the value that they add. So that is set by themselves. Most women undersell themselves, right? So they are very guilty. First of all, they are guilty that they are leaving the family behind and pursuing a career. And then negotiating the salary is another kind of added layer to that, thinking that okay, now I got a job, why should I even negotiate? Let me keep the job, let's see, right? It's not just in pay, Yogita. It's in the way they apply for promotions. It's in the way they even apply for a job, right? You know this, and it's very well established that if you have a job requirement which has 10 requirements, if a man sees that and if he checks 4 of those 10 boxes, he's going to apply. But women do not apply even if they check 7 of those 10
Yeah.
boxes. They want to check off all the 10 and then apply, right? So same thing they do across, negotiating for pay, negotiating for promotions, negotiating for opportunities. So that's an area where I think we got to consciously train our mind and be comfortable asking for what we feel is deserving.
Yeah, that is true, actually. You should definitely voice out what you actually deserve. So it's a
Yes.
great takeaway. Yeah. So in your
Yeah.
conversation, you mentioned about the guilt, right? So mother's guilt is there, wife's guilt is there, daughter's guilt is there. So women carry all the kind of guilts, but prioritize self-love. So can you comment on that? Like even in your journey, like 27 years is a huge milestone. So in your journey, you would have made a lot of sacrifices throughout your tenure of career. So what would you like? Can you highlight few things about whatever you had went through?
So let's break it into 3 parts. Let's address the guilt part first, right?
Yeah.
Just because I am a working woman does not make me any less of a mother, wife, daughter, or anything else, right? So it isn't. It's something that we have trained our brain from the young age by looking at our surroundings, thinking that this is what I should be doing because that's what was fed into me through, not directly, indirectly, via a conversation, via a movie, via a story, or what have you, right? That need not be the case. The world has changed and moved far away, right, from where we started, far beyond where we started. So there isn't, of course, when I started off, did I not hear things from people around me? They did tell me that, Geeta is prioritizing her work over her kids. Okay, she thinks her career is more important than her family, right? And she, even to the extent that some people even said that, okay, she is after money. She doesn't care about relationships, right? So again, I pivot my mind to the same conversation. The ones that are talking are not raising my kids, not taking care of my parents, not catering to my family needs. I am. Right?
Yeah.
I choose to take what is important, what is meaningful to me, and choose to ignore the rest as noise. Right? So
Yeah.
that's all I do. I block off what's not relevant, what's not important. That doesn't mean I ignore everything that's told to me. Right? If there is a positive feedback, if there is anything that someone tells me about how I can make my life better, of course I welcome those comments. But if there is someone who is just passing a irrelevant comment like this, then I choose to ignore, right? So don't feel guilty. It's our life. And possibly because of the job that I have, I can provide better for my kids, right? I can provide better healthcare opportunities for my parents. I can take better care of myself when I retire, right? So there is that worry part, that is financial burden is shared by both me and my husband in this family. So both of us are happy. So think about it that way. And as a working woman, the way I raised my kids, they're very responsible. They are not overtly dependent on something, and they have grown into full rounded individuals today, which I'm extremely proud of, which is a result of me being a working mother. Possibly it would not have been the same if I was not, right? So there are many benefits. So take the guilt off. Then the other thing that I would like to tell you and myself, this is something, everything that I've told so far is what I told myself all through my journey, Yogita. So if I am not happy, if I am not healthy as an anchor in this family, there is no way I can keep my family happy and healthy. There's no way, right? If I truly believe that I have these responsibilities to my family, then I have to take care of myself first. If I am sick, if I'm ill, or if I'm, not happy in my mind, then that is the energy that I would be dissipating into my family. And how will I keep my family happy and healthy? Tell me. So it's not, self-love is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's fundamental and core, right? You be happy, you keep people happy. You are healthy, you can take care of others' health. So it's all pivoting there. If you are an anchor, you keep your anchor strong, right? So self-love is important and it's absolutely essential. It's not something that you can think of as an afterthought. Okay, I'll take care of my family and then I will take care of myself. No, no, no. You take care of yourself, then only you can take care of family, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. That is either way around in most of the cases. Like women, particularly, they take care of everything and then they sit for their breakfast. So it's a other way around every time. But it's a right
Uh,
thing that you had mentioned, ma'am. Like you have to take care of yourself. Health is a priority.
Health is priority. Physical health and mental health both are priority. Imagine the contrary of this, that I, as a person or any person, is mentally not in a good place or physically not feeling the best of their health, then how can they even take care of their family?
Hmm.
They cannot,
Cannot.
right? Then, yeah, they see, it's a negative cycle that feeds into itself. So think about it. If we truly want ourselves to be useful to the family, we have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, that is true. That's absolutely true. One more thing I want to ask about is on the same note, like on the work-life balance. Like, mm, since you mentioned, like, of course, there should be a shared responsibility between a male and a female counterpart of a family. But that said, there is still a lot of responsibilities on female to take care of everything at home as well as, pursue the career. So, what would you like to comment on that? Like, work-life balance is essential, and how can they ask for it?
Right. So it's again a very, very important and a pertinent question, Yogita. Now, who can give me my work-life balance apart from myself? I have the same 24 hours as you, as well as anyone else in the world, right? So with this 24 hours, I can only do so much. Now, we have been fed constantly saying that, yeah, women are great at multitasking, right? So that they can do cooking, they can do cleaning, they can do their office work, and they can do kids homework, help in the kids homework. They can do everything. They can go to student, kids parent teacher meeting and everything. And they are so good at multitasking, right? I take offense in that comment, because if someone is telling me that, that means it is their way of justifying their behavior of not helping me. Right? They are telling you, so you're so good and expect me to do all of these things. Right? Someone even said, like, you are a super mom. I said, no, 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 no. I'm just a mom. There is nothing called a super mom. Every mom is the same. I have the same number of hours that as you. I have the same amount of responsibility or more possibly than you, right? So I don't do 10 things, Yogita. I do just one thing at a time. If and that one thing should be my highest priority for that day or for that moment. Everything else in my mind, I have kind of, practiced this in my mind that, Geeta, you're not effective as a multitasker. You can do one thing well at a time, and it is an established fact as well. Brain cannot do multitasking. It's a scientific fact, right? So don't trick yourself in becoming this super mom and super woman or the great multitasker. Be what you naturally are and be productive, then prioritize and do only things that only you can do. Take the list, take everything else off your list so that you make time for what's important. For me, there are maybe three priorities: my family, my health, right? My work. At any given point in time, these will be my priorities, and I only cater to this. Everything else comes next. If I have time, I will take care of it. If I don't have, I don't care.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, initially people will think, what's wrong with her, right? She might be a little bit arrogant. She's antisocial, but eventually they will see what I'm trying to do, right? And they will see that when we do things well, take the responsibility seriously and deliver on those, then everyone will see for it. And by the way, I have to keep myself happy, right? Not the world.
Exactly, exactly. That's a great thing to tell, ma'am. Like, you have to satisfy yourself, not others.
Yes,
Yeah,
right, right. Yeah. So I take care of what is important and what's relevant and what I enjoy doing. Everything else, I push it out so that I keep my mind space.
yeah, that is good actually. The mind becomes vacant if you prioritize certain things which are important to you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, as you were mentioning, right, like prioritize what is important to you, and there is no concept called as multitasking. Don't glorify that. So, that's a
Yes.
very good takeaway. So, in our culture, like in IT industry, there is a lot of debate on remote working and hybrid model, work from office, or something like that. Do you agree to a point that remote working can be more efficient to women, or kind of gives a privilege to them to handle multiple things in their plate? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I will tell you my honest opinion on this,
Yeah.
right? So let's talk about pre-COVID era, right? What would women say? Typically, they would say that, men go for a smoke break, they bond, they make connections with their peers, supervisors, and they promote themselves. Use that as a platform to talk about themselves or get to know opportunity. So those kind of conversations that are happening over a smoke or or a coffee is not happening with women because we do not be typically part of such conversations. So that was a constant complaint that I have heard in the past. Then come COVID period where remote working became normal, right? Everyone was working remotely. And in my mind, it was best because it became a leveler for all genders, right? It took away all the opportunities that the special opportunities, so called, for everyone else and leveled the game and the playing field for all of us that what I get is same as what you get as anyone else gets, right? Could it be information about opportunity or information or the what can I say, an opportunity to bond or what have you? It's the same now. Anything that was special was taken away. So that became a great level playing field for women, especially, right? Now it was all the onus on the women themselves to seek those opportunities, to seek that information. And they could not sit there and complain that, I don't get this information or opportunity as male counterparts because they don't get it either. now come to today, right, which is hybrid, again, it's a level playing field because we have evolved from there to here, right? I don't think there is, any organization that is not supporting hybrid model today. Pretty much most of the organization, I do not want to generalize and make a generic statement here. Most organizations are supporting hybrid model, which is very, very, very conducive for women. And I would want to even advise women that have taken a break, right? Use this opportunity. If you are at a comfortable space, then use up like a quarter or two, meaning 3 to 6 months, learn up the skills, and then get back to work because the opportunities are pretty exciting for women that want to get back to work also, even if they have taken a break for whatever family reasons or personal reasons in the past. So, yes, I think this leveled out the playing field. It's the best possible phase for women to just pursue and chase their dreams.
Yeah. Ma'am, can you name few of the skills which they can develop? Like AI is one of the things. Like if you could name few of the things which can be, women can take up and can get back to work.
AI and ML, right? Machine learning and artificial intelligence are definitely the buzzwords that are going, and cloud technologies are definitely the in thing right now. Those are pretty much in demand skills today, and there are very good learning materials that are provided online, some free of cost, some for very nominal. So I would definitely recommend these. Now, there is it's kind of counterintuitive that you have seen in papers and news articles that AI is taking away jobs while I'm talking about learning AI to get jobs. It's kind of counterintuitive. It's the same case everywhere else, Yogita, right? In technology or outside, in the changing world, we have to keep up with the change, right? When I started off with programming in C language, then C++, then Java. Then when Java came, we were mind blown. We were actually having self-doubt, like, it must be so difficult from what we are doing. Will we be able to do it or not? Then it evolved into several things, right? Every time a wave comes, we are thinking, okay, this is going to take the jobs away. The actuality of it is that it is going to throw up opportunities for you to upskill yourselves and grab those opportunities, right? If you do not upskill, there is no place. Let me be very clear. The moment you upskill and you are willing to put that initial effort of learning the new technologies, then you always are relevant. You will always find jobs.
Yeah, that is right, ma'am. Like you gotta learn every time. You're gonna upskill every time, at least especially in tech actually, where things are evolving so fast. Yeah, I agree to your.
It's not just with IT, right? Imagine if someone is a doctor, right? How is the medical field evolving? Today, we are talking about robotic surgeries. We are talking about AI, generative AI induced prescriptions, and it's AI is everywhere. Like, don't doctors have to learn?
Yeah,
They do have to learn, right? So I'm just giving an example, right? Every field, even if you're in a teaching field, the teaching techniques have evolved. Teaching role has itself evolved so much now. So they are also on a constant learning path, right? Irrespective of which field you are in, the change in the world is very rapid. We must keep up with the change to be relevant, and it's more visible in IT. It might not be that visible in the other field, but
right.
it's very evident and visible in IT. Absolutely. It doesn't take much to upskill ourselves. It just takes that will, right? There are enough learning material online for someone to pick up one stream and, get a mastery over it.
Yeah, I agree to you, ma'am. There is immense knowledge on internet. There are a lot of things. A lot of institutes came up with free trainings and all such things. So women have to leverage that to kind of be enabled in tech. Uh, One more question I had on the jobs, there are some special programs which I'm seeing these days, which are coming up, taking women back after their pregnancy period, or they're running some special campaigns for just hiring a woman employees or something like that. So is that is that creating a difference, or is that thing filling up that gap of lesser girls in a industry or something like that? What do you like? Can you comment on those initiatives?
Those initiatives are definitely welcome, and they are the initial nudges that are definitely required to push the needle, right? To move the needle, I would say, towards having better gender diversity in any offices, right? Now, just because we offer a job for a person who is coming from a maternity break or a career break, right, that doesn't mean a great career for that person,
Yeah,
irrespective of the gender, right? So once you are in the role, then it everything else I said so far is applicable. Are you keeping up with technology? Are you really focusing on the outcomes that you bring to table? So those become then relevant. Then you are there on that journey one more time. Now I will ask you one question. What would you think if I say I'm hiring you in my team because you're a woman? Would you be happy?
no, that doesn't make me happy. Yeah.
Isn't it? Right? You want to be hired because you should feel deserving of
Doing
the
that.
role. Yeah, you should feel you got the job because of your merit and not because of your gender, isn't it?
Right, right. Yeah.
Right, so that's relevant. So now if it is a problem that we are solving for merit, and if there is merit in women, definitely they will get jobs, right? It's just that now you start applying, start upskilling and applying, you will get jobs, right? And the gender diversity, now I think a lot of these initiatives that was that initiated at least 20 25 years back have started bearing fruits. I can see more women now. I can see women who are going through these life phases, right? Getting married or having children, or all these familiar commitments or life phases. They're very confident of those phases and they're not scared, or they're not, feeling that they have to give, career up to go through those phases or otherwise. So it's much more, I can say, conducive environment right now. All the initiatives are definitely bearing fruits and it will continue to. But now the cusp of that time has come where we have to fight for our jobs based on our own merit. Just apply, don't shy away.
Yeah, right. Uh, Also, ma'am, on the interview questions, right? There are a few questions being asked whether you're getting married or whether you are planning your family in a couple of years or something like that. So, do you feel those questions are really relevant? Isn't that a private affair?
I have heard those questions myself. Okay. You are now pregnant. Should I hire you? You will go on a maternity leave. So those questions were there relevant, right? It's private in a sense that if I'm pregnant, I definitely need some time off from my work to take care of my newborn kid, right? It can be like now at least we have 6 months of maternity leave, which can be extended based on the need and other factors, which is a good amount of time in comparison to what we had when our kids were born, right? So we had like 12 weeks or just 3 months, and everything else was loss of pay or what have you, right? Those questions, um, I, I think a lot of initiatives or sensitization has happened in the corporate world, and men are refraining from asking those questions. In fact, let me tell you, those questions were asked by women themselves, right? So I have had this conversation in my own personal experience, where is a woman manager appraising a person in her team who is a lady who is about to go on a maternity leave, and she is saying, okay, this girl in my team is going off for maternity leave, I'll not give her this increment this year,
That's
right?
unfair.
So exactly, right? So that bias is, it's unfair to say the bias is in one gender, it's across, including women. We have to sensitize our brains to say that, this is just a life phase. They're going to come back. They're not going to, their, physiology might be altered, but their brain and their merit is not going to be altered, right? After 6 months, right? They are
Yeah.
going to be same bright people that we hired them, and they're going to be as valuable as they are, and when they come back, right? So that sensitization has to happen. There is change for sure. Is it enough? Not yet.
Yeah, that is true, ma'am. And as you rightly mentioned, right, woman is pulling another woman down. Like the sense of sisterhood is not there. And elsewhere also, like for example, like now you have progressed to this level. There are a lot of people in your peers, or it can be your family relatives or something, who could be so jealous about you, or anything it could be, right? Whatsoever could be the reason, but they try their own best level best to pull you down some or the other way. So what message would you like to give to such women? Like, of course, we have a lot of problems to deal with in society. We need to help each other. Unless and until we tie our hands and kind of help each other as a community, as a woman fraternity, it's not going to, I mean, we are not going a long way, is what I feel. What do you think about that, ma'am?
All right. I definitely think women need to help women, because as a mother, I know what a mom goes through while a child is born or bringing a kid up. What challenges would you face as a mother when you have teenagers at home, right? When you are raising a daughter or a son. So as a mother, I know it best because I've gone through it. So I have to share that knowledge and extend that support to my fellow women. And they have to do that. It's kind of paying forward. I definitely think I want all women to feel responsible for all other women and support the community. Then we can see some change from within, right? Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And even in the corporate world, I am not biased towards gender, Yogita, but I'm definitely mentor and coach for a lot of women, right? When they come to me for mentorship, I provide them with a constructive feedback, help them identify what they can do differently so their career can become better, or if they need any other help, then I extend my hand and support so that they can get over that hump and then they can carry on their own. I would request all my fellow women to do this for their, for other women in their offices or people that they know in their family, so that, they help someone to become stronger and pursue their dreams. And at the end of the day, it's very gratifying and fulfilling for me that I made a difference in some one person's life, right? It makes my life worthwhile. And that sense is so deep and so satisfying. No words can explain it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree to you, ma'am. Like, giving back to society, or sharing your experience just to make another person's life better is a fruitfulling experience.
Yes. Many a times you just have to lend your shoulder, right? You lend a hearing ear. That itself is a big deal. And, a lot of women feel comforted. They go back, motivated and inspired. Yeah. I think it's a responsibility that we each of us have. Earlier you had asked, and I told you what keeps me going is that purpose that keeps me going even today.
That is true, ma'am. Can you comment on fake feminism? Like, government is taking a lot of measures, a lot of acts are coming up. Posh is one of the act which was there for the sexual harassment protection and all such things. There are one set of girls who are misusing these kind of things to a larger extent, can be for various reasons. This is kind of, not helping the girls who are actually seeking for justice. So what is your take, or what do you want to say to those kind of people?
Right. So there is always it's going to be an agenda of a political agenda or a election mandate that we will promote women. There is this many percentage of reservation and all. So let's not comment about that. Right. That let's also think about see Posh as a matter of fact is a very serious thing, and it's a very serious institution that exists in every organization. Right. And as you and I is speaking, we don't know how many thousands and lakhs of women around us in this country are experiencing sexual harassment, within the family, outside family, in the work environment, right? Don't we think it's our responsibility to provide a safe environment for them to at least come out and then report it? Many cases or most cases go unreported. And, even the ones that are misusing, I would say that they are hurting many, many, many of those women that are genuinely seeking help, right? What I would say, just now we spoke about how women have to help other women. Now, if you can't help, don't hinder what is there in place. Absolutely. It's heart crushing because I have seen many people, there is a social taboo already, right, on many topics, including sexual harassment is a very serious topic, right? If we cannot help, at least let us keep quiet and not disturb the environment so that it antagonizes such women who are truly under pain, right? So it's a humble request to not misuse. What would happen is one bad apple in a basket will impact everything else, right?
Exactly.
So should, yeah, yeah. It's very true. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, that is true, ma'am. So we are coming to an end of this interview, and I want to ask you one last question. What would be your message to today's generation, female, woman, girl, anyone who really wants to do something in their life, or even be a homemaker, or whatever they choose to be? What would be your advice?
My advice would be for all the women and girls out there, right? We are born with the abilities that we are. Just believe in yourselves and go for, and chase your dreams so that, it's not that we are depending on someone. We already have strong wings that are given to us by birth to fly. Just seek the right place and fly.
That's so nice about you, ma'am. So it was so nice interviewing you, ma'am. Got to know a lot of things. Definitely, this interview would help a lot of people who are seeking for motivation. And you yourself are a testimony of such a rich experience in women in tech, women in STEM. So a great example, ma'am. Great going. So one thing, ma'am, can we play a rapid fire? Like what I will do is I'll tell one word, and whatever comes to your mind at a strike, you can just fire that word. So, uh,
Sure.
yeah. So, which is your favorite language, programming language?
Java.
Okay. Agile,
Absolutely, yes.
software,
Lifeline.
AI,
Future
family,
comes first.
self-love,
Is not a luxury, but it's a necessity.
technology.
Fast changing.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really nice to have you. We thank you on behalf of Happiness Root Foundation. Thanks for doing this with us.